Welcome, guys. Welcome to Berea Babs. Be in the know. I'm your host, Vale Chikuni. So we are getting in on it with the special guest. I don't think Kiana is a special guest. Everybody knows Q. All right, Kiana is here. She's gonna break it all down. Okay. Kiana was dying in the comments. So Kiana is here to break it all down. Okay. Welcome, guys. Dear, well, Christian is in the building. Welcome. Yes, cute. We'll have fun. Eric, good to see you. Nice seeing you. Guys, thank you for being here. Okay, so this is going to be interesting. Okay, this is going to be interesting. All right, so welcome, guys. Oh, Sister April is in the house. Good to see you, sister. Good to see you, sister. All right, we're here. We made it. So, the case in point is Queen Fani. Okay, Queen Fani Willis. I like it. April uses the K. She doesn't even use the Q for the Queen. I find that to be so funny. All right, we're going to get serious. So, Kiana, introduce yourself, okay? for those who might not know you, this is Kiana is in the building, yo.
Oh, so my name is Kiana. On this particular thing, since I've been in the comment streets for years, I am now joining the ranks of the YouTube suburbs over in Q's Corner. But I'm just somebody who has a big mouth and a lot of things to say. And thank God he has saved me and tamed some of that. So he's kept me who I am while conforming me to the image of his son.
Praise the
So
Lord.
that's pretty much it.
Praise the Lord. Praise the Lord. Praise the Lord. Okay, I think we're just going to have fun tonight. We're just going to have fun tonight.
Yes.
Oh, April is like, okay, that should read Queen. Oh, man, look at her. Oh, shady. Ah, the Queen. Queen. Okay, guys. So, we are glad that you guys are here. So we're gonna break it all down. The Fani Willis case. Okay, so I'm still waiting for my flowers. I'm not done with you, dear old Christian. Okay, because I told you from the get go. I still need praises from you. All right, so everybody, you as you guys understand the case that has unfolded. So Kiana was on the girl like, no, Fani, there's no way they'll take her off the case. I was also saying the same thing. I'm like, no, I know they brought in the smoke and everything. I'm like, this is not even good enough to do it. So when the judge broke down the case, like, wait a minute, like, okay, I'm just going to split the baby, okay, where it can go, obviously. The two of them can decide. One says one go. That's just obvious. So I wasn't surprised about it. So we're just going to get into it. We have some clips and, some articles that we would like to share. So, Kiana, go ahead.
So now I have a question. So if we were splitting the baby, does that mean Nathan Wade was the real mother? Because he chose to let the baby live.
No, I think Judge Mcafee, like how Solomon, right, when he had asked those two women, bring the baby, okay? But he never ended up splitting the baby. You see what I'm saying? So, but
no, I know.
The
I'm saying
judge
exactly.
has literally done it.
I'm saying exactly. I'm like, since Wade decided that he was gonna go, does that make him the real mama? Because he said, "Let the baby live. Let the baby live."
Oh man, look at Kiana. She within 2 minutes, she's already way out over here. All right, so. I mean the case, the document that the judge put out is quite long, so we're just gonna skim through it. But I think it would be nice to show how the breaking news came about. So we're gonna share this video with you guys, and then we'll talk some more. Okay? So here we go. This was, this was on the Fox News. So let's play it.
You just pointed out, Bill, that this decision is in. Judge Mcafee said he would give himself a 2-week deadline. Right. That landed on today. So we have all come to know this judge a little bit over the course of the last couple of months. His name is Scott Mcafee. He did decide today, and he gave himself that 2-week deadline, as I mentioned. And the decision that he has had to make is whether to disqualify the Fulton County DA, Fani Willis, in response to allegations that she was dating her lead prosecutor when she hired him. And the accusation is that that was part of a motivation for hiring him, and that then the two took some rather fancy vacations together, and that they may have benefited financially from this business arrangement, which it was alleged she created for that purpose.
So Donald Trump's team and his co-defendants say this is all a disqualifying conflict of interest. The case should be thrown out because of it. All these allegations prompting heated testimony. We watched it live. You're going to hear now from one of the first witnesses on behalf of Trump's attorneys. She's now a former friend and former colleague of Fani Willis. She was emphatic. She said she remembered the timeline and she remembered the action when she asked her questions about Nathan Wade.
And do you understand it, that their relationship began in 2019 and continued until the last time you spoke with her?
Yes.
As it relates to having the 2022 relationship with District Attorney Willis, I want to say, because my marriage was irretrievably broken, I was free to have a relationship.
You've been intrusive into people's personal lives. You're confused. You think I'm on trial. These people are on trial for trying to steal an election in 2020. I'm not on trial, no matter how hard you try to put me on trial. I don't need anything from a man. A man is not a plan. A man is a companion.
Well, that is just a slice of what we got from the DA, Fani Willis.
Okay, so that was just to recap for you guys. That way you can see everything that transpired. In my, when I watched this key witness, when she was speaking, her body language, it's like she just didn't want to be there. And I remember she was asked, like, okay, so how did you know that they were in a relationship? And she says, Fani told her that they were in a relationship. But she never mentioned, like, okay, so where did she say this to you? And what were the actions? What were they what were the items that were happening between Wade and Nathan that made you to believe that these people were in a relationship? And Wade and Fani, they did agree that they had a relationship, but the Trump team did not ascertain specific as to when that relationship started. So they're saying it was after, and those guys are saying before, and voila. So if you're not going to be specific for a case like this, it's just like, okay, what are we supposed to do here? So go ahead, Kiana. I know I've been talking.
No, and that's and it's funny because Violet and I kind of disagree on why the case, why Fani did not get removed from the case, because I do think that there was enough for him to remove her from the case. I think he just wanted to punt. Because Yurdi, she answered the questions that she was asked very specifically. So they asked her, are you absolutely positive this began before 2022? And she said, yes, she was. They asked her, how do you know this? She was like, are you asking me, did I observe anything, or was I told? Then I think it was Boots who was asking the questions. He said, well, both. He said, observation and were you told? She said, well, yes, I observed things. And were they hugging? Were they kissing? She said they were doing things that you would lead you to believe they were in a romantic relationship. So I personally think that her testimony, she didn't want to be there. Let me say that she tried to fight the subpoena. She absolutely did not want to be testifying. She wanted to go on with her little. She'd already severed herself from the DA's office for whatever reason that is, and she was ready to go on with her little life. And they made her come in, and that was one of the things that the judge was asking the questions about. They were like, well, Miss Yurdi came and lied. He said, well, if she was going to come and lie, why would she fight the subpoena? Which she did. So we kind of diverged there, Vice. Like, I think that she did answer enough. She didn't, she did what a witness was supposed to do. She answered questions that were asked to her. And she answered them, given her the benefit of the doubt, which the judge didn't do. She answered them as truthfully as they were asked to her.
So, perception is everything, okay? But the judge, Judge Mcafee, he's also, he does oversee a lot of divorce cases, infidelity issues, like when the people are divorcing. So he is familiar, just like, okay, so when you say that people are in a relationship, you need to bring more receipts as opposed just to say, like, okay, they took trips. Okay, you need more evidence to prove that, yes, these guys, their relationship is infringing upon the defendant, Donald Trump. So that wasn't proved in the case. They did prove that these two are in a relationship, but for them to prove that their relationship is interfering with the Donald Trump case, that to me, I wasn't seeing that in the court. I wasn't seeing that in court. What about you, Q?
I guess interfering is an interesting way, because as I was listening to the testimony and I was listening to all of it, my thought was more of the benefit that she received from it. And I do think that, so I'll talk about the benefit first. Okay, I understand cash. When my grandfather died, because my grandfather, I will let you guys know, was born in 1909. So he was an adult during the Depression. He lived through it. He had kids when the Depression was on. When he died, we found all kinds of money everywhere. Oh. Everybody was saying, oh, the cash. I was okay with the cash. I just didn't believe Fani. There is no way you're going to tell me you're paying Yurdi her rent in Cash App, but then you're not giving Nathan Wade Cash App, because we can tell you paid Yurdi her rent, because we could just Cash App that you have receipts. They see you sent it. They see she received it. So you're gonna tell me you paid her, I think she said somewhere between $1,400 and $1,700 a month in rent on Cash App, but you just walking around with these thousands of dollars that you're handing off to Nathan Wade with no receipt. And again, being who you are, you understand what things look like. You understand what you are required to do. So it wasn't that I have no problem with thinking, hey, she keeps a stash of cash in her house. I have absolutely no problem with that. I have a problem with you trying to make me believe you actually gave this man back this money with no receipts, no anything, because you didn't even think, it didn't cross your mind that you would have to answer for that at some point. And the thing is, I think it didn't cross their mind. They thought that nobody would ever bring this up, which maybe they were, I forget how Tyrese's wife put it, and so I'm going to say maybe they were intoxicated on infatuation. Maybe they were high on love. Because if you really thought you were going to go after Donald Trump and his cohorts and not have anybody scrutinize you, you've lost your ever-loving mind.
Yes, I thought that was not a good look on their part to, not to have their ducks in a row. So, so Q on the, if you have, because I have some highlighted on the section on the ruling, so you can always tell me which page that you want us to go through. So while you're looking at that, we can share this video, and then we'll get to Judge Mcafee himself. Okay, you know what? I do actually like the judge. Okay, like the other thing to me, like remember guys, like we are Christians for sure, right? But we are in this world, and people do different dealings. Okay, I mean he's 34 years old. He used to work for Fani Willis, like but Fani used to be a judge at some point. So to me, I'm like, yeah.
You keep saying she used to be a judge. You keep saying she used to be a judge. She was in traffic court just like Nathan Wade was. She was a municipal court judge.
Okay. All right. So get to the transcript queue. We're going to queue up this video. Then there's a lot to get to. But thank you guys for being here. So let's watch some more clips over here. Okay, here we go.
Has resigned as a special prosecutor in the election interference case coming out of Georgia. That one, as you know, involving former President Donald Trump. Earlier today, Fulton Superior Court Judge Scott Mcafee decided today that there was, quote, no actual conflict stemming from the romantic relationship between Willis and Wade, the Attorney General. But he did say that, quote, the appearance of impropriety should result in either DA Fani Willis or Wade leaving the case. Trump and more than a dozen others are facing charges in Georgia tying to alleged attempts to overthrow the 2020 presidential election. The former president has, for his part, denied any wrongdoing. We want to go now to CBS News congressional correspondent Nicole Killian. She is there in Atlanta. She has been covering all of this for us. So, Nicole, what is the latest that you're learning?
Well, as you just mentioned, the special prosecutor Nathan Wade has offered his resignation to District Attorney Fani Willis. He writes in his letter today that
okay, we do have that letter for you guys, okay? And I think I'm suspecting that this letter was already written because it just came out so quick. I think they knew they were gonna, I don't know, walk or something, because that letter was, it came so quick and so fast. And Kiana, are you suspicious about the letter, or you're fine about the letter?
Oh, everybody. I mean, the way I figured, it's kind of like when you when you're running a campaign, you write the concession speech and then you write the victory speech. So I'm sure everything was written up.
Okay, I do. Okay, so you guys, man, I don't have my glasses. Can you read? Are you able to read?
Now, see, what I love on the whole little this, I call their letters the love letters. It's like the Dear John letters or breakup letters with one another. And my favorite part on Fani's breakup letter was the fact that she recounted how many days he'd worked. She's like, in my head, because she's like, you served magnanimously for 865 days. In my head, I'm hearing the Brian McKnight song about how long it's been since she went away. I was like, oh, that's so cute. They wrote their final little love letters to one another.
Yeah, so this is the letter. I don't know, like what my boy saying. It's I'm on the wrong page for the letter. Okay, yeah. So now I can read it. No wonder I'm like, wait a minute, I won't be able to read this because it's so tiny. So once the case was dismissed, Nathan Wade issued this letter. Okay. And we're looking for the Fani one. I didn't find, but also Fani responded. So I'm like, how are these people responding to each other so quick and so fast? Okay, so this is, I think it's well written, to be quite honest. Even though Q is
better
heading over
than
the line.
his interrogatory, better than his interrogatories for his divorce case.
All right, so this is a letter that Nathan Wade wrote to the district attorney, and I read, Dear District Attorney Willis, a.k.a. Fani, okay? The furtherance of the rule of the law.
Baby cakes.
Shots fired, shots fired. Okay. The furtherance of the rule of the law and the democracy is and has always been the North Star of our combined efforts in the prosecution of those who are alleged to have attempted to overthrow the results of Georgia 2020 presidential election. Our team is dedicated to ensuring that a Fulton County jury in a Fulton County courtroom renders a true and just verdict in this case. Okay? So, members of the jury, as directed by the order today in state of Georgia versus Donald Trump, I'll skip that. I hereby offer my resignation effective immediately as a special prosecutor for the Fulton County District Attorney's Office. Although the court found that the defendant failed to meet the burden of proving that the district attorney acquired an actual conflict of interest. Do you see what Wade has just done over there? Okay, he's just serving people notice. You put us to court, embarrass us, showcase whatever else we're doing. I'm going to include in this later, okay? That these people who are coming after us, you and me, Fani, I got nothing on us, legally speaking. And I continue. I'm offering my resignation in the interest of democracy. So there, right there, that's how you see, like, no, you are a lawyer. You should be offering this not in the interest of democracy, okay? Demas, okay? It's not for the voice of the people, in the interest of justice. You see what I'm saying? In the interest of, to uphold the rule of law. He should have put that, not saying like democracy, okay? So I didn't like that, but that's how you see that this issue is politics, okay? It's not the legal system, it's politics. And I continue. In dedication to the American public and to move this case forward as quickly as possible, I'm proud of the work our team has accomplished in investigating, indicting, and litigating this case. To be honest, whether you like them or not, the fact that Fani was able to get all those guys plead guilty and get their mugshots, it's a win for them. So they did something, whether you agree with it or not. But I continue. Seeking justice for the people of Georgia and the United States and being part of the effort to ensure that the rule of law and democracy are preserved has been the honor of a lifetime. I'm sure that the case and the team will be in good hands moving forward and justice will be served. You, the team on this case, and the entire office have my prayers for your safety. Because you know how she moves around the houses, okay? Fearing for her life. And your success in the pursuit of justice. Okay. Okay. Respectfully, Nathan J. Wade. What say you, Kiana?
I say it's really interesting that he talked about how there was no actual conflict of interest, because the judge did say that there was the appearance of the conflict.
Yeah, but
of course,
Kiana. No. The appearance and the actual, in legal terms, that's, it might appear, but that's not what happened.
No, I understand, but I'm saying he didn't note that the judge said there is an appearance of conflict of interest. He only stood there and said there was not, because it's the appearance of conflict of interest
So,
is the reason
Kiana,
that
let
the
me
judge
stop
is
you right
saying
there.
one of y'all got to go.
No. So you are expecting Wade to write in this letter that, oh, the judge has said that there was an appearance. Why would he do that?
Oh no. I'm just noting the fact that I'm just noting what's absent. I'm just noticing what's absent. He is completely exonerating himself, and that is not what happened. That's what I'm noting. The whole letter is hot garbage. It's like it's one of those things where it's like, you know, you hear the president is firing somebody and then they resigned. That just means he gets to keep his pension in government terms.
Yes. And you know, that's why those people in that situation, that's what they would do. Okay. So, what are you guys saying up in the chat? Man. Welcome, guys.
They're saying Fani wrote the letter for him.
Oh, no, I don't think. No, she wouldn't do that right now. Okay, they cannot be.
Yes, she would. You guys are so optimistic. Y'all believe in people. She absolutely would write that letter.
Oh man, Susie Q, welcome, our BB squad member. Thank you. Good to see you. Oh, Sister Ada is over here. So Q, what do you have on the judge, the ruling?
So let's see here. It's page 7.
Okay, so
where he talks about the trips that they took.
Okay, so all right. So now we're gonna look on. You know, why are you heading on the trips that they took? Okay, they paid in cash.
Well, no, because remember, Wade is a world traveler, so he has 2, not 1, but 2 travel agents.
Oh, Wade had 2
and
travel
it's funny
agents?
to me. He has a cruise travel agent and a regular travel agent. Fani doesn't know what continent Belize is on or where Aruba is, so she doesn't go anywhere. She sits at her house or goes to the club with the girls, drinking her Grey Goose.
You're just heading. Okay, all right. So let's see. Okay, Q. You said page 7. We're on page 7, but are we going to be able to read?
So where he talked with it's the first part of that is cut off, but he talks about the fact that in total the defendants point to an aggregate documented benefit of at most approximately $12,000 to $15,000 in the district attorney's favor. Then he goes down to talk about what Wade and the district attorney testified to. And just right in the middle of that second, toward the end of that second paragraph, it's like, for example, the district attorney testified she reimbursed Wade in cash for the Aruba trip, which she estimated cost around $2,000, and she gave him money for both cruises. She further claimed that she reimbursed Wade for the entirety of the Belize trip and paid for the Napa Valley excursions. And finally, Wade could have brought up the meals. While Wade could have brought up meals in 2020, which totaled more than $100, she would also regularly pay for his meals. Here is what I find funny, just even reading all of this, because as he goes down into his decision, he basically talks about how he does not believe what Nathan Wade said or what Terrence Bradley said, but he believes what Fani said. It's like she estimated it cost around $2,000. Okay, well, we know how much the tickets cost because he paid for those. We know how much the cabin costs because he paid for those. So she doesn't have to estimate. Why are we taking her estimate? And you're putting she gave him money in scare quotes. Who believes, if I, just being a normal person, and just need to remind everybody that this is not a criminal case. So you do not need to have beyond a reasonable doubt. So you're not even dealing with, do I need to beyond a reasonable doubt believe she didn't pay him back or that they didn't lie? It's not even that. You were looking at a preponderance of the evidence, and doggone it, it might be lower. But we're definitely looking at nothing more than preponderance, because this is not a criminal case. Now, if we were if, as she liked to say, the defendants were on trial, if it was that trial, then we'd have to be beyond a reasonable doubt. But here, we're not looking at that. It's like, okay, does it look like you did something? And if you want to talk, they said they found no act. He says he found no actual. Well, again, it's still not a criminal case. And there are people who are in jail. Dershowitz talked about how his clients, he has a client on death row for circumstantial evidence. All of this is way more than circumstantial, but the judge wants to say, I don't know. I know the two men lied, but Fani, she's a stand-up gal. And I am giving the side eye.
So do you think that Fani is getting that? Because remember, they did, whether you believe it or not, they did Fani's father testifying in terms of the cash. That was actually good. And remember when Fani threw in about the cash, she says, and that was even before the father came in to testify. He says like, well, my father has always told us that you're supposed to have cash, okay, but don't tell him. So I think that was a good testimony that the judge did believe the cash situation. And then when they had the one person from Napa testify like, oh yes, Fani is the one who paid, and she actually paid in cash, that that did prove that they do deal in cash. And mind you, the Trump team were not able to disprove that the cash thing didn't happen. So whether it happened or not,
you realize
the burden of proof was on the Trump team to prove that the cash issue was a lie.
Okay, so you realize that Fani has people who are in jail now because they said they paid in cash. And they couldn't prove that they didn't pay in cash. And the burden to prove
that was not
that
the
they
case.
didn't pay in cash. No. But the state has to prove you're guilty. And she has people who are locked up right now because they talk about how they deal in cash. And Fani couldn't prove that they don't actually deal in cash and keep cash in front of in their walls and their safes. But they're in jail. So I'm saying you have to be one way and not two. You want me to believe you keep cash. But
those people, they need to sue.
Young Thug, he can't keep cash. He don't deal in cash. These gangs running around don't deal in cash. I'm just saying. Maybe their daddies told it. Well, they probably didn't have daddies. Maybe their mamas and the street gang leaders told them to keep cash too. So in Fulton County, just so all of you know, in Fulton County, we no longer plead the fifth. We plead the Fani.
Lo. Dear old Christian, thank you for the super chat. Appreciate you, brother. Okay, so Fani will be hiring me soon over here. Okay.
Apparently, you are her PR agent.
Queen Fani. Okay, Queen Fani. So the thing is, to me, right? What? I don't know, because like when I started watching the case, they remember, let's not forget why we were in court to begin with, okay? So I've just lost the place where this is, and I'm going to read this to you guys, okay? And we'll get the other article. So you guys, you see why Fani Willis ended up winning this case, okay? So, we're trying to be lawyers on YouTube, okay? Me and Kiana, we're on the same side, of course, but not the same side. I don't know what's happening over here. All right, so this is, to me, this is what hinges everything, okay? And I'm reading this to you guys. It's 22 pages, so I forgot to put this over here. And I read this, okay. The proceedings, yet reasonable questions about whether the district attorney and her hand-selected lead testified untruthfully about the timing of their relationship, further underpin the finding of an appearance of impropriety and the need to make proportional efforts to cure it. Ultimately, dismissal of the indictment is not the appropriate remedy to adequately dissipate the financial cloud of impropriety. and potential untruthfulness found here. See Olsen State 302. Okay, so I think this is at the bottom. Dismissal of an indictment is an extreme sanction used unsparingly as remedy for unlawful government conduct. Unlawful government conduct. Fani Willis being in a relationship, it's not a crime. And I continue. There has not been a showing that the defendant's due process rights have been violated or that the issues involved prejudiced the defendants in any way. Okay, so what is he saying? So the judge is saying, yes, all these things about Fani, yeah. But the reason why the Trump team brought the case was their behavior. This situation is going to undermine for him to get a fair trial, things of that nature. Okay, but you know, just because these guys took trips, just because these guys are in a relationship, yes, whatever they pay each other in cash, how is those things affecting Donald Trump, legally speaking? So the judge find out there's nothing there, legally speaking. That's why they let Queen Fani go. I do agree that it was not wise what they did, okay? The appearance of it and everything else, yes. But if you put it through the Georgia system, no. However, the judge could have found him guilty and everything, but you know, it could have gone either way. So the judge had also to save his interests. He's 34 years old. He has children. He's running for office. Okay, he wants to survive long term before now. And you have to remember, okay, Fani used to be a judge, and Fani is a district attorney. So do you honestly think, you know, just the appearance, it is better to keep Fani there than to get rid of Fani? Okay, Donald Trump has been a president. He's running for a president. What is the worst that can happen to Donald Trump? They're just gonna drag this case. You know what I'm saying? And before you know it, it's you know, there's no there. But if you remove Fani, the other cases that can come in, that Fani has already locked people up in prison. You see what I'm saying? Those people are gonna come and say, you know what, Judge? If you removed Fani Willis on this case, guess what? My client was locked up because of this. My client was locked up with all this. You see what I'm saying? And the testimony was about cash. So all those other cases have to come. So it's not good for the judge. The more wins they have, it's good for them. So right now, letting Fani go is good for their quote-unquote judicial system. Even though it's not good for justice, but, you know, go ahead.
No, it's not even good for their judicial system, because every person who has been locked up with cell phone data, the cell hawk data that she is using now, currently, as we speak, all the people who have, they're definitely going to appeal. They're going to point to that. This woman actually filed paperwork in a court hearing, which is public record, that says cell hawk data is unreliable. You have the judge, and I actually am looking at that piece on page 16 of his motion, where he says, in addition, while the testimony of Robin Yeardy raised doubt about the state's assertions, it ultimately lacked context and detail. Even after considering the proffered cell phone testimony from defendant Trump, along with the entirety of the other evidence, neither side was able to conclusively establish by a preponderance of the evidence when the relationship evolved into a romantic one. Yes. So what they're saying is that it's normal for people to drive to other people's homes in the late of night, and there is nothing wrong with it. It's normal for you to be out in the middle of a field where a dead body was discovered at 1 o'clock in the morning. I mean, because that's what you're ultimately saying. She uses this to put people in jail, prison. People actually lose their lives. We're not talking about them lose their lives, lose their freedom, because one of the things Fani has said is she is okay with death penalty. I don't know how often Georgia executes people, but there are people who have lost their freedom, definitely have lost their freedom, and potentially have lost their lives over cell phone data that she, and now the judge, is saying basically mean nothing. All of these people are going to start coming up on appeals, and they're going to be pleading the Fani. No, Madam District Attorney said that it's not reliable. So why am I in jail?
Yeah, so I think to me, the closing argument, right? The Trump team, the closing argument, I remember they had said, Your Honor, I'm paraphrasing over here, use your judgment, quote unquote, use your common sense, use your judgment. It's not like the judge doesn't see that these people were in a relationship, right? But that's not what you bring to the judge. Like when you're, as a lawyer, right? You don't want to tell that to the judge because the judge, that's your job. You are supposed to be bringing me, like, everything wrapped, everything is done to make it easier for me. But if you're bringing something for me that I should just adjudicate like that, he's just not going to do that. And mind you, he's also running for office. So he also has his own interest in this case, to be honest.
And that is not what a judge is supposed to do. Just like
Correct.
The prosecutor is not supposed to be interested in that. So my thing is, if you're not going to do the right thing, let's say that you had a murder case before you, because unlike Fani and Wade, he doesn't try traffic tickets and DWIs. He tries murder cases. So let's say you had a person who was in a murder case and they're before you, and you're like, because sometimes there have been trials. I mean, I know juries, but judges can also set aside juries' convictions. They can set aside those things. So let's say it was politically expedient for you because you're fighting for your political life. It's politically expedient for you to set aside this murder conviction. Are you going to do that? Are we going to let people? That's not what the judicial system is all about. Equal weights and measures are what's supposed to be applied. And right now, there are people in jail for less evidence, circumstantial evidence, who've lost their freedom over less. And I'm sure that they've been before Scott McAfee. So for you to sit there and tell me that someone who should be held to a higher standard, just because it's like they didn't bring you a smoking gun and they didn't have telephoto lenses of photos of Nathan and Fani together, I say shenanigans.
Yeah. So the other thing, Kiana, remember, Judge Mcafee, right? He's a Superior Court judge. And because he does deal with a lot of cases, including divorce, and when people are bringing to him, like, people are divorcing, this one wants to get money, okay, my husband was cheating and everything, he does get evidence that is, quote unquote, beyond a reasonable doubt, even though this guy didn't have to prove that, right? So when you say that these two people are in a relationship, okay, he wants some extra stuff, okay? Okay, Fani Willis and Wade over there, doing some whatever. You see what I'm saying? Oh, Wade is spending, these showering gifts. All these other things, whereby you'll be like, oh, wait a minute. These guys, they're doing, whatever they're doing over here is going to inflict on the Donald Trump case. Because whatever you think about Fani, when she went up on the stand and to say that I don't need no man for money and everything, right? She is a feminist. So she is the type of a woman who'll be like, I'm going to pay for myself. She is that type of woman who actually do that. She is the type of woman who think like, okay, you know what? I'm the one who wants to be giving you money, that type of thing. She does give that vibe.
But she did give him money. That's why I don't think she paid him back. Because the money he was paying with was her money anyway. Well, the taxpayers' money. But it was her money anyway. So why give it back? I already paid you.
Okay, so, guys, thank you. We're about to play a video about Judge Mcafee over here so we can see where he's also coming from. And I lost my thought what I was going to say, but we had somebody from London. Welcome. Okay, people from London are here to see Kiana.
Oh, no, they're here to see you, Miss Vi.
No, Sonia said something. Sonia, can you put that thing? I lost it. She said something. It was, what did you say, Sonia? I missed it. All of a sudden, the evidence is undeniable. Okay, but you guys, are you understanding where the judge weighs? You throw away Fani. You are throwing the entire team. So it is better just to get rid of Wade, as opposed to get rid of Fani, as opposed to getting rid of everybody. Because, mind you, even the stuff that the judge did throw away some other things, right? He was able to see that there is a case to bring against Donald Trump. That's not in dispute according to the judge. He got rid of the other stuff. But to bring in a new team, do you know how much that would take? It's a lot. So let's just clean up a little bit here and just keep Queen Fani. So let's listen in to what the judge over here. I don't understand why the judge was going on the show. So Kiana, do we do the judge first or the person that he's running against? What do you think?
I say let's do the person he's running against first, and then let's do the judge, kind of see
then
what
we
they're
do
saying.
The judge. Okay. All right. So Judge Mcafee wants to keep his seat. He wants to keep his judgeship. So, but someone else is challenging him. So this is a gentleman. Let's listen in, okay?
Fighting over former President Donald Trump's Fulton County election interference trial is now fighting for his job. Civil rights attorney Robert Patillo announced this week that he will challenge Fulton County Superior Court Judge Scott Mcafee. Atlanta News.
You guys, the guys are saying no audio? There was no audio of the video we playing?
Yeah, no, I couldn't hear it either. No audio.
Oh, that's weird. Oh, sorry guys, I thought there was audio. I was, wait a minute. Wait, there was no audio? Okay, so I have to rewind it. Was there audio at the beginning?
Yes.
At the beginning, there was audio. Okay,
yes, ma'am.
So, all right. Sorry, guys. I didn't know there was no audio.
Presiding over former President Donald Trump's Fulton County election interference trial is now fighting for his job. Civil rights attorney Robert Patillo announced this week that he will challenge Fulton County Superior Court Judge Scott Mcafee. Atlanta News First political reporter Doug Reardon is live tonight outside the Fulton County Courthouse. So, Doug, could the issues surrounding Fulton County DA Fani Willis impact McAfee's chances here?
Yeah, Blair, you would have to imagine it would be on the minds of voters when this race goes to the ballot on May 21st. Historically here in Georgia, incumbent judges really don't lose their seats very often. But if there's one thing we know about this election indictment case, it's that nothing is normal.
Robert Patillo has been practicing law in Atlanta for 15 years.
And that's part of what drove me to run in this race. Because if you're practicing in the Fulton County Courthouse for 15 years, you start seeing a lot of issues in Fulton County Courthouse.
This week, Patillo announced he's challenging Superior Court Judge Scott Mcafee. Mcafee burst onto the world stage when the 34-year-old was tapped to preside over Fulton County's historic election interference case involving former President Donald Trump. Patillo, a radio and TV commentator in addition to his work as an attorney, bills himself as a conservative Democrat and says he's voted all over the political board. He was clear, his run isn't just about getting Mcafee off the election case.
He has a great record. I have no aspersions cast against him. I just simply think I can do a better job in this position.
Mcafee was appointed to the bench in 2022 by Governor Brian Kemp to serve a partial 2-year term. Also on Thursday, the Fulton County Board of Ethics removed 2 complaints tied to the DA from their agenda, noting Mcafee's pending decision as well as a state investigation at the Capitol. They said Willis is a state officer, so any complaints should be handled by state bodies, not the County Ethics Board.
But I recognize that other proceedings in the legislative and judicial branches of Georgia state government are taking up the matter and reviewing these actions with greater rigor and detail than has been presented in the complaints before us.
And we were told about the removal of those 2 complaints just minutes before that meeting started. The Ethics Board referred to Article 6 of the Georgia State Constitution in determining that Willis was in fact a state officer, not an officer of the county. We're outside the Fulton County Courthouse. Doug Reardon, Atlanta News First.
Okay. Sorry, guys, that you were not able to, I didn't know that's what's happening. All right, Kiana, what say you?
Well, here's the thing. McAfee, once Patillo joined the race, didn't have a chance anyway. It's Fulton County. That man is not going to win his election. Had he run unopposed, then yes, because there'd been nobody to oppose him. But once, as people like to say, skin folk got into it, his goose was cooked. He could have done whatever he wanted to do, and it would not matter.
Okay. I don't know. I do think that because he's let Fani, stay on the case, the Fani people might end up like, okay, as a reward to Judge McAfee, they might end up voting for him.
No, ma'am. They're not going to think he one of the good whites. They're going to vote him out. It's not going to happen.
He came through for the sister. Oh, no, for the ghost. Okay, so Judge McAfee.
But the black man would have come through for the brother and the sister. He'd have kept both of them, been like, y'all need to get out of here. Plus, he wouldn't have dismissed the 6 charges.
Oh, but they say that, every time he's run unopposed, so this is the first time that somebody is challenging him.
Well, he's never run. He's never run. He was appointed.
Oh, this was his first appointment? Oh,
this will be his first time actually running.
Okay, to be on the ballot. Okay. Oh, yes. So Sonia, I do think, you know what, Kiana, I think what they should have done, they should have taken this case to trial. Then Fani would not have survived over there. But, I mean, if you have the Fulton County jury, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Because this was just the judge deciding. They just wanted the judge to decide this case.
Well, I don't think this was a hearing. It wasn't really. Well, Fani stated
they should
something
have sued
correct.
her so that way they could have subpoenaed her bank records. You know what I mean? Because like
this was yeah.
If they had sued, you know what I'm saying? Then at least you're going to trial. They would have had a right to subpoena her bank records. But right now, because it was just a hearing, she wasn't on trial. There are certain things that they couldn't get from her.
Well, I mean, either way, helped. Even if they, even if it were a civil trial, you can try and squash those things, and it's still left up to somebody to make you do it. So she's still the DA. Whether they had sued her and gone to a civil trial, or whether they had or what doing the hearing, it's like they didn't make her give anything up.
Okay, because that could have, that's why they were just saying, okay, they're paying cash, and they proved that would have helped. But we can listen to the judge when he went, I don't know, this show, Kiana, you want to tell us a little bit more about the show?
All right, let's see. Is this Professor Nez? Oh, no, this is the show. Okay, so the judge went on the radio because he is campaigning. Because I remember you asking that question, like, why would he go on the radio? He's campaigning. His primary is in May. And Jason, you were correct. It is May 21st, not May 14th. I was incorrect
so it's even
on that.
Soon.
So, yeah, it's very, very soon. So he still has to campaign to keep his seat. So he went on the show, and of course, he's there to talk about, his record and what he's doing. But this is the hottest reality show in town. So you're going to get asked about it. And he gave his answer.
Okay. All right. So let's listen in to Judge McAfee on the campaign trail.
Everyone involved here in Fulton County, I'd ask for them to take a look. To join us, I'd ask for their vote and for their support.
You were handpicked and selected and put in that position by Governor Brian Kemp. So this is your first election that you've ever run, or have you been in other elections before?
No, this is the first time, and I'm looking forward to getting out there.
Last night I had which is now I guess your challenger, Robert Patillo, on, and one of the things that he talked about why he's running is because of the backlog of cases that he says the judges can help out. Criticize the fact that this case, this what we call election interference case with Donald Trump and 18 others, has moved through the courts very quickly, but there are people who are sitting in holding cells and in Fulton County Jail who have not seen a judge, and he's saying that's why he's running. What do you say to that?
Well, what I would say is that a lot of what he shared with you yesterday about efficiency, about getting everyone their timely day in court, I couldn't agree more with that. he's absolutely right about that. But he's coming after the wrong judge if that's what he really believes. And frankly, I've got the numbers to prove it. I mean, from day one, my job was to attack the backlog, and I've done that with everything I could, and it's working. I mean, I can tell you that I inherited a docket where I was second to last in terms of the number of pending cases. In 1 year, I'm now in the top half. I'm number 6. I had 53 different murder cases when I came on board. We're now down to 25. We had 25 defendants that had been sitting in jail for over 1,000 days. We're down to 10. So we have been attacking this backlog with everything I've got. And we've been just doing jury trial after jury trial. When you reached out to me yesterday, I just wrapped up another murder case. So all I can tell you is people maybe don't see all the cases that I handled. Maybe one of them gets most of the attention, but the actual bread and butter of what we do and that's happening in 5A is exactly the type of work that he talked about, and that I'm really proud of.
And was that your stated goal when you got put in that position by the governor, was to take care of the backlog and get people moving?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, that has been one of the most continual frustrations of Fulton County. You know, you've got a case where a victim's family is just sitting there waiting to try and get some justice in the case. And on the other side, you've got a defendant who oftentimes just, again, wants to stay in court, wants to tell his side of the story, and they're just sitting there waiting. And we've got to have a system that recognizes that and people willing to put in the work to make it better. And we've got the resources, we've got all the means in Fulton County to make that happen. It's just a matter of knowing how a courtroom works, having spent a career in a courtroom, and knowing how to move those cases along, and that's exactly what I've done.
One of the other criticisms.
Okay, do you think, did you see what he said? Like, okay, you know, he's taking care of business. My understanding is Fani Willis is also known of that. Like, okay, bringing in cases, you know what I'm saying? Getting rid of these criminals, things of that nature. So in Mcafee's mind, it's just like, okay, you know, she's a killer district attorney. She's taking care of business over here. And wouldn't that play upon his decision? Because, like, you know, there are certain factors. Why? Are we still on?
Let me see. I still see. Let's see.
I wonder if we're still
live.
I see it. Okay, because there was a notice over here saying that we something.
Oh, we may not be.
Yep,
okay. Nicholas said we're still on.
Nicholas, we're still on. Okay, because it says, you know, the recordings just stopped. We ran out of space. What was I saying? Okay, we're still live. That's fine.
Does it have? Yeah, he was like, you were saying it would, the fact that she's a killer DA who likes to bring people to justice, allegedly, had played any part in what he was thinking by keeping her on.
Yeah. So I'm thinking it's because she knows Fani. He's worked with Fani before. So all these things, you know, are playing something to the decision that he has to make.
You're good. You guys are nice, and you guys, I love the fact that most of you guys think the best of people. Maybe it's because my heart was so black when the Lord saved me. I think the judge had PTSD when Fani burst into that courtroom. He got reminded of when he used to work under her. He had PTSD, and he remembered how evil and mean and vicious she was. And he just went right back into that. Yes, madam, chief ADA, because that's what she was. She was the chief assistant district attorney when he worked under her. And I think that he just had PTSD, had a flashback, and just responded the way that he would have responded when he was still her subordinate.
Oh, wow, man. Look at you. So
allegedly.
Allegedly. Okay.
I'm not trying to catch dear woke Christian's RICO case.
Dear woke Christian is mad at me right now. Well, Molly, you don't believe that, do you? Well, guys, okay. Somebody will say we are what? We are not a nation of we're a nation of laws or something like that, of political will. We're not a nation of laws, but we're a nation of political will. I heard that from Steve Dees. So this is politics 101 playing, you know. We're out here crying for justice, looking for justice. These people are making political moves. They're maneuvering. So
and that makes me sad because we are not
that should not be so.
Justice from anyone.
That's why we need that Christian nation, okay? Have
Christian
judges sitting in these benches.
There we go.
Okay.
Speaking my language now, bye.
Hashtag Christian nationalism. I guess that's another subject that we need to do, Kiana. Okay, because I think you misunderstand my position. But that's another subject for another day. So
yes, that's another subject for another day.
All right, guys. I'm so glad that you guys are here. Thank you. Okay. Shara Mahone, good to see you. Thank you, guys. So, this article, Sister Kiana was able to find this article for us. And I think this article just speaks to what I was saying all along and what Kiana was saying all along. But these guys, ended up putting it. Because to me, I was just, with what I'm saying, I didn't go to law school, but I was just like, all right. So, this is the part that I did like. Okay. If there is a part that you did like, you can read it.
Yep. No, so you keep going, ma'am.
Okay. All right. Fine. So, this is a nice article, just encapsulates as to why Fani Willis. I know Sonia, but did she win though? Okay, she's still on the case. So what was the goal? The goal was to get Fani off the case. So that they were not able to accomplish to get Fani off the case. So technically, that would be a loss for them and a win for Fani. More things are going to come on because the main goal was we want to get rid of Fani on this case. The fact that she's remaining over there, in their eyes, they're not going over there thinking that they got a W, okay? Fani wanted to remain, wanted to stay, and she's staying, so that's a win. She's going to lose in other areas, but as these things are, Queen Fani, and I read, no one is praising Fulton County District Court. Hey, guys, what do you think about my glasses? Huh? No one is praising Fulton County District Attorney Fani Willis' apparent romantic relationship with Nathan Wade, an attorney in private practice who she brought on board as a special prosecutor in the criminal investigation and now prosecution of the Donald Trump and 18 court defendants. We have not yet heard that much of Willis' side of the story. However, based on what is known so far, it represents poor judgment, especially in a case of this magnitude, which I agree 100%. Even if a prosecutor's private life is generally none of the public's business, Willis has already said publicly that she is flawed and imperfect in her public remarks. Okay? Because this is where she went to fight, right? In the court of public opinion when she was going to these churches. At Bethel AME Church following the allegations, but whether there were personal failings is not the operative legal test for whether Willis or Wade should be disqualified from the case. And accordingly, that question is not the focus of this essay. Prosecutors are human, and they can and do make mistakes. The question here is whether Willis's and Wade's apparent mistakes have any bearing on the election conspiracy prosecution in a way the law would require their removal from the case. Okay? The motion filed by the defendant Michael Roman seeks primarily to do just that, to disqualify Willis and Wade from further participation in this case. Under Georgia law, however, even if all the factual allegations regarding Willis and Wade were true, there would be no basis for disqualifying them from prosecuting Roman or any other defendants in the election conspiracy case. This is what I was saying, and this is what I noticed in the court. That's why Fani lives to survive. And this is the key point. The key point is that regardless of whether the factual circumstances involving Willis and Wade give rise to separate ethical concerns with respect to this hiring, such questions do not affect the propriety of the prosecution against Roman and his co-defendants. Questions about gifts and related matters go to Willis's and Wade's obligations to the Fulton County District Attorney's Office and have no connection to assuring the defendants a fair trial. These allegations are as irrelevant to the trial as allegations in other situations that prosecutors took office supplies for personal use. drove counter vehicles for personal errors, or plagiarized portions of their student law reviews notes. All of those are illegitimate issues for prosecutors' office, and those with oversight responsibilities to address. But such allegations do not bring criminal prosecutions to a stop or require that the case be transferred to a different office. Defense attorneys cannot use allegations of prosecutorial ethics violations, real or imaginary, that have nothing to do with a trial to derail or force prosecutors off of a case. This is what I was seeing, and this is what I was saying. And the judge has seen the same thing. So all these grievances that we have about Fani Willis and Nathan Wade, they are true, but they do not rise to the occasion to remove them from prosecuting the case. As a favor to the people who wanted this issue, that's why the judge knows. He just gave it to Fani. One of you has to go, so that we can clean up the appearance of quote-unquote evil. That's what has happened. What say you,
See,
Kiana?
and that's the thing about it. That's the thing about it. Because that's what he wrote in his decision too.
Yes.
That in order to remove that stain or that appearance, then one of them had to go. If he really believes that taking one of them off of this case and not throwing both of them off removes the stain from this case, I have oceanfront property in Arizona to sell him. That is, my deal is just say, look, we're not going to take her off the case. We don't care what she did. We don't care how she did it, who she did it with. None of that. But don't try and sell me that Wade not being at the table is going to make me stop thinking about what happened. It doesn't remove the taint from the case. They both got up there. In his decision, he basically said, I believe Fani, which is why I think he has PTSD, but I think Wade is a liar. Well, Fani and Wade told the same story.
Yes,
So,
story.
I'm just saying, one of them's a liar, but the other one isn't, even though they told the same story. One told the truth, because Wade said Fani paid him back again until 2020. Fani came in and said the same thing. Wade said that Fani was the type of woman who's basically a feminist. He didn't use those words. Fani came in and told us that she was a feminist and her daddy taught her to always have cash in the house and you don't know what a man's going to do when they take you on a date, blah, 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 blah. They told the same story. And one of them is to be believed, but the other is not. You make it make sense to me. And if anybody believes that people are going to be like, oh, now I think that it's all good since I don't see both of them sitting there. Again, oceanfront property in Arizona to sell you. And here's the other thing. He also talked about how in his case, the prosecutor is to be free from any bias. They're to seek justice. They're not there to win. They're not there to toot their own horn. That woman got in open court and did not say, as Nathan Wade did in his resignation letter, that they were alleged to have done these things. She said they were on trial for trying to steal an election. She didn't say for allegedly trying to steal an election. She said for trying to steal an election. She made a statement about the guilt of people who have not been tried in court by their peers. She went to Big Bethel and did the exact same thing. Not only did she do that, because we all know who they is. That's like, my brother-in-law always gets me when I say you people. I'm like, you people. He's like, oh, who is you people? Everybody knows who you people is. Everybody know who they are. So she went to Big Bethel and she accused those people of not wanting her to prosecute this because they were racist. No. They don't want her to prosecute it because they don't want to go to jail. Nobody wants to go to jail. It wouldn't matter who was prosecuting this case if they had found that somebody was jaywalking. And they could bring that. They would have brought that, because the ultimate thing was not necessarily, because they did do the whole little deal to get Fani removed. But what they wanted to do was they wanted to have it dismissed. That's the ultimate thing, to not have to go through this, because these people are still racking up legal fees. Now the lawyers are enjoying it because they're still getting to bill. But these people's lives, you mentioned earlier also the people that they got to plead guilty. Well, the one guy pled guilty because he was a bail bondsman and he could not work if he didn't plead. He needed to work. He had a family to feed. And then the other two people who pled guilty, Jenna Ellis, and I think there were 4 in total, but I remember the 3. Jenna Ellis and Sidney Powell, those, they pled guilty, but part of the plea agreements is to turn. So they snitching. They turn. It's like, that's the whole thing. So are you really, and also in their plea agreements, they pled to misdemeanors. If they stole an election and this is really about democracy and this is really about saving the union and making sure we have integrity, you're going to let them plead to misdemeanors where they serve probation. And once they finish their probation, their charges get dismissed, their cases get erased, and it's like they never committed any crime. No, that's not what this is about. They don't give 2 doggons about anybody else. They want Donald Trump. Plain, simple, and it's plain for all to see. These people, if these people really did participate in election, whatever, and insurrection and all these other words that they want to throw, you mean to tell me that you're okay with them just walking away with nothing and then clearing their record? No. What you're trying to do is what you do with everything else. You want them to flip on the big fish so you can get him.
Yeah. So that is true, and I agree with you everything. So this is politics. I'm telling you, this is politics, because even the judge, right? So here is where the judge, even in his own words, right? If the same thing applies to Fani Willis, it should apply to Nathan Wade, because with everything that they have done, does not rise for them to be disqualified. So the good thing the judge to have done, to be consistent, the judge in his position, he was supposed to keep them both. So what Judge Mcafee has done is just like, okay, you know what? Just to appease the quote-unquote the appearance, let me not just keep both of them. Let's get rid of Wade. And he did good, whereby just like, okay, I'm just going to leave it to the district attorney. You guys, you can decide between you two. You see what I'm saying? So he knows what he's doing over here. This was politics.
Yeah, like he wasn't deciding. He knew Fani was gonna save herself. That was never gonna happen. I mean, it wasn't like Theo and Cockroach was like, no man, you go. No, you stay. You stay. No, that man knew full doggone well Fani Willis was not gonna take herself off that case. And maybe that's one of the things that I don't like. I don't like being treated like I'm dumb. And that particular part of the thing, you're treating me like I'm dumb. You knew that woman was not going to take herself off the case.
Yeah, and well, why
also,
would she?
And I didn't pull this up in time because I couldn't find. And I didn't think about it. But there's now been an ethics complaint filed against her with the Georgia State Bar.
Oh yes, yeah, I did see that, but
yep.
I hear that the thing was well written, and it's not supposed to be. So what we're talking about, guys? There has been a bar complaint. They filed a complaint on Fani Willis. So if that complaint goes through, she might end up losing her license. However, that information is not a public information, but the thing is already in a public domain. It's not supposed to be public. So there's people even within these offices are leaking this information. It's good for content creators, but then it even shows like, okay, you guys, you are also not doing things up and up. So then why are you demanding for Fani Willis to be doing things up and up? And who knows what's going to happen.
Well, I think there's just a difference here, because I agree with you in principle and in theory. Just because something, but we have to look at the whole little. Is this truly not supposed to be public, or is this one of those things where they usually don't publish it? Because that's a different thing. That's a different thing about whether or not something is actually sealed and whether or not it's actually.
I think those things are made public after when the person is dismissed, not when the thing not when somebody has filed a complaint. You see what I'm saying? Like how do, and most of the time, usually people say it's the clients who are filing the complaints against the lawyers.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, but right now it's just like, so who are these people filing? You know.
But I mean, Fani doesn't have a client. Her client is the
people of Georgia.
The people the people of Fulton County, and the person who filed the complaint is a Fulton County resident. He actually lives in Johns Creek, which is where Raffensperger spoke with Fani about spoke with Trump about they got this whole little thing started. Well, Fani was praying to the good Lord that it was in her county.
Sonia. No, I do not think that it does. Does it? Okay, so Sonia is asking, is it illegal to make the document public? Does it invalidate the point? No, it does not invalidate the point. But remember, we are talking about judicial things, right? So if the things are not supposed to be, they're not supposed to go public without the due process of those things to be going public, then it's kind of like, when people are leaking things. So just like, so you leak something that was not supposed to leak. Remember when the leak came out from the Supreme Court Justice that they were going to overturn Roe v. Wade? Okay, so eventually they did turn Roe v. Wade, right? But when it leaked, that was not the appropriate time. It was come to the public at some point, but the methodology that it was used was an illegal methodology. So, yeah, you know what I'm saying? It is illegal to make something public that is not supposed to go public before its time. I don't know if what I'm saying is making sense.
Well, I mean, again, we have to think about the whole little deal. Is it illegal? Because I don't think it is. Just because something.
If it's not, then how come the thing is not public? Why?
Because why is not
publicly accessible?
It's like it's just because it could be because that's something that the Bar Association has said that they don't want to do. But I don't think that there's a statute that says, kind of like Judge Mcafee said, there isn't a statute to disqualify Fani for the appearance of impropriety. Again, because I'm all about justice. If there is a statute that says this should not happen, then I want that person to be punished because because you're supposed to keep that. But I don't think there's a statute. I think it's more of courtesy type deal. Like that's because the bar handles things public internally, so they keep theirs. Now I could be wrong.
Yeah. Okay. So this the highlight part, guys. Okay. To me, this is where the case hinges. Okay. The law of prosecutorial disqualification in Georgia. Under Georgia law, there are two generally recognized grounds for disqualification of a prosecuting attorney. The first such ground is based on the conflict of interest, and the second ground has been described as forensic misconduct. So, according to these two things, under Georgia disqualification rules, Fani Willis' situation and D. Wade, they do not meet this standard in order for them to be disqualified. As a result, the judge has let them to live another day. But according to Kiana, she thinks it's not because of that, but it's because of this experience of the judge with the history of Fani Willis. So here's a video for you guys. Oh, man. All right, let's, where are we? Man, this is fun. So glad you guys are here.
Tonight, a Fulton County judge has announced District Attorney Fani Willis should not be disqualified from prosecuting the election interference case against former President Donald Trump and several co-defendants. But it comes with one major condition. Either Willis and her office leave the case or just Special Prosecutor Nathan Wade, whom she'd appointed to head the case. And just this evening, Wade has stepped down.
And remember, all of this started back in early January when one of Trump's co-defendants filed a motion to have the entire indictment thrown out, citing a personal relationship between Wade and Willis. Both of them said they acknowledged having a relationship, but they said they did nothing wrong. The judge ruled today, though, that the appearance was enough to justify that Nathan Wade be removed from the case in order for this to move forward. But not everyone is happy with the judge's decision. Let's go ahead and bring in our Jonathan Martin now with more on how this is all playing out.
Yeah, a lot of opinions here, Joe. The controversial ruling has drawn some criticism, especially from Republicans who support former President Donald Trump. Now, shortly after the ruling came down, Georgia Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene posted on X that Judge Scott McAfee should have recused himself from the case because he previously worked for District Attorney Fani Willis and donated to her campaign. So is that true? Our Verified team did some digging for you today, and here's what we found out. Our sources include state campaign finance records, the Superior Court of Fulton County, and Charlie Bailey, an attorney and former Democratic candidate for lieutenant governor. So first up, the claim that Judge McAfee donated to DA Willis's campaign, that is true. Campaign finance records show he gave $150 to her campaign in 2020. Judge McAfee was working for the Justice Department at the time and not as a judge. Governor Brian Kemp appointed him to the bench in 2022. Now to the claim that McAfee worked for DA Willis. That needs some context. His professional experience listed on the Senior Court of Fulton County's website says he did work as the senior assistant DA in Fulton County. Attorney Charlie Bailey says he actually worked with McAfee in that trial division headed by Willis. Bailey says McAfee would have reported directly to Willis for a time, but she wasn't the DA just yet. Bailey says situations like these, in fact, are extremely common where you have a judge considering a case brought by one of their former co-workers. He said it is not viewed typically as improper. Also important to note, Judge McAfee was randomly assigned to this case. DA Willis did not handpick him. It's just how things shook out.
Important context there. Jonathan Martin, thank you so much for that. We are closely.
All right, Kiana, what say you?
I don't think that those things necessarily disqualify him. It's not like there are myriads and myriads of people to pull from to do these things. So, I mean, $150, if he has, I think it's more the PTSD from working with her. He knows how she is. And if he was going to recuse himself, I would have recused myself because I'm just afraid of her. He should have just made up and be like, I'm afraid of her and I worked under her and I'm good. I don't want to do this. But I don't think those things necessarily disqualify him. But Nicholas has a good point. He's like, it's possible that the judge would have done well to recuse himself, but that's a matter for the Court of Appeals because he did not. So that is an available redress. And that is something that the defense can bring up. It's one of those things where, I think that stuff is like post-conviction. And that was another thing about a lot of the cases that they were citing in the decision, and even things that Fani and them were bringing up as they were filing briefs. A lot of the issues they were bringing up were about post-conviction appeals. This is not a post-conviction appeal. This is not something they're trying to address. What they feel is something that prejudices their clients before they get convicted. And that's something that I think is probably a bit of a newer territory for people. And I guess, Judge McAfee decided that he did not want to be one of those people to decide that. And I guess as the case goes along, because I know that Boots, Mr. Sadow, is planning to do an appeal. We'll see what the appeals court say, because either way, we're going to get a case law. We're going to get some precedent set. And the precedent is, because in my personal opinion, the precedent right now is that it doesn't matter what if the evidence is against the DA and her cohorts, then it can't really be believed. You can't trust it. If the evidence is against a Fulton County resident who's being accused of something, or maybe somebody who just happened to get caught allegedly doing something in Fulton County, then it's completely reliable and you need to sit down, shut up, and take it.
Yeah, so I do think, as it relates to this case, right? Like, okay, she definitely survived, but there will be scrutiny. Other things are going to show up, right? Because I think Fani has been subpoenaed, so she has to go and appear, before the lawmakers. So there will be other things that are going to just put a spotlight on the district attorney. But I don't think even if they appeal for her not to be on the case, they already have, those are the only two circumstances where a district attorney can be removed, and they still do not meet that burden of proof. So I don't know even if they are quote unquote appeal. I don't know. I mean, it'll be before a different judge, but I don't
Correct.
see that.
And
that judge
the different judge, I mean,
the overturning a superior court judge. I know, because I mean, to be quite honest, even if I mean, guys, do you think that, let's say if this wasn't Donald Trump for a second, right? Let's say it was, I don't know, who's the governor? Who else is less known? I don't know who I can think of. I don't know if this was like a Hollywood, Tara Perry running for governor and he's doing things, or if it was a mayor who was trying to interfere with the elections. I don't think people would be, it'll be like this. It's because it's Donald Trump. And mind you, there's all these other cases that are coming against Donald Trump, right? So when people are looking at these things, they're looking like, okay, everybody is suing Donald Trump left and right. And yes, you don't want Fani Willis to prosecute Donald Trump, but if it was a different district attorney, would they still let it go, or they'll still want to do the same thing? Because they want the whole case to be dismissed. You think if it wasn't Fani Willis, they would just be like, okay, you know what? We're gonna see them in court. Let this case proceed.
See, I don't think that's what would happen either. I think they would still be fighting tooth and nail. If it was some other DA, they'd be looking for a jaywalking ticket to try to get it dismissed, because that's what you do. You throw everything at the wall to fight for your client. That's what a good defense attorney is going to do. You try and do everything you can to make sure that your client doesn't go to jail, because that's what they're paying you for. They're not paying you. So they're paying you to keep them out of jail, to keep them out of trouble, to make sure that they are not found guilty of what they're being accused of, whether they're guilty or not, allegedly. So it's I don't think that it's because of her. I think that her arrogance just refused to let her keep her mouth shut. She really thinks that black girl magic is it fixes everything. She didn't go in there and the first thing out of her mouth is they're picking on the black people. Ma'am, you won Fulton County District Attorney. You were the most powerful DA in the state of Georgia. And you still have a complex? Get out of town. You prosecuting a whole bunch of white people. So right now it looks like you got the power, ma'am.
Who got Sonya over here? No, but my understanding was, even though because Fani did testify that in order for Wade to get overtime, he needed a written approval, because Fani had capped the amount of money that he would get.
Ma'am, he never got written approval. He just submitted bills and they approved them.
On a backdoor? What? Okay, so did they bring these things forward, or the judge didn't buy that? I think.
I don't think that like there are lots of things that they tried to enter in, and he was like, "Well, that's not the scope of the case. Those are not things that we're looking at." We found out, even with the block billing and all of those things, we found those out not because of the testimony in court. Because even when Nathan Wade was on the stand, she was asking him about that, and he's like, "Oh, I got, I didn't even bill for as much time as I was working." And again, Fani told the same story. Yet he's not to be believed, but she is. And it was one of those things where we didn't find out that he was not billing in the increments that are supposed to be billed in, or that he was not detailing his work until Ashley Merchant got to testify before the Senate. So that was one of the things. Also, I want to get in this, is that I feel like this is another, I think this could be another plot twist in the Fani and Wade saga as the peach turns. So if Fani and Nathan want to stick to their story, that their relationship didn't start to after he started working for her, and now he's had to resign, and I put that in quotation marks because we all know she was going to boot him off anyway. Again, it's just like people, in the government, they're like, I serve at the pleasure of the president, and the president doesn't want you, so they resign so that they're not fired. I think that Nathan should file a man too case, because he should say that if Fani had the power dynamic, she was his boss. She was on the whole, she made him take her on those vacations as a kickback. I would just I am one of those like, okay, let's have another part in the saga. It's like it was an unequal power dynamic. He could not say no to her. Fulton County has already paid out almost $1 million in fines for that anyway, because their little council person was stalking the man, putting low jacks on his car and stuff like that. They paid him $700,000 already from what was brought out either in court or in the Senate hearing. It could have been up to $3 to $4 million that he could have gotten paid. If I'm Nathan, I'm about to file a suit so I can get the remainder of my money. Jocelyn's gonna try and take it. I got a wife I gotta support who's soon to be my ex. So that's
I don't think he would do that.
I say he files a man too case. That would just be another just juicy plot twist in it.
No, I don't think Wade would do that. I don't think Wade would do that. I think for them, it was whatever happens, we paid each other in cash. Our relationship started after I started working over here. They let them prove that. Because if the thing is mudded up, and that's it. Because that's what happens. Like, you just need one little thing. And these people, they walk. It's unfortunate, but these are things happens. And that brings me to, as I was saying, right? We understand Proverbs 20:23, right? An equal weight are an abomination to God, okay? A four scales he hates. And one of my friends was on a jury duty. And this case involved a gentleman who, having some issues with, I cannot say over here on the channel, right? The daughter, a stepdaughter, I think, for 10 years or so. So now the case went to court and everything. The pastor had to testify. So once the case was done, they went into the courtroom to deliberate, right, in the jury room. As soon as the door closed, 4 people were like, guilty, guilty, guilty. Okay? So my friend was like, no. I'm going to have to answer to God what we're going to do over here. So I'm not doing that. Where's the evidence? We need to find. And this guy, didn't you see her on the stand? Didn't you see her? Didn't you see that? She says, no, we need to go through the evidence. So much so that they ended up having she wasn't budging. So it was like, they were kind of like deadlock. And they said, okay, we need the evidence. We want this issue. So her and another young man who's 18 years old, they went through the evidence and then they found this piece of evidence where the pastor did everything, in the biblical terms. And the father actually confessed to the pastor, but only saying, I never did anything. All I did was just touch her. So right there and then they were like, no, you know how these things goes, right? With the particular evidence, they ended up convicting this gentleman. But what is my point? She did that because she's a Christian. And she knew, okay, yes, this guy looks guilty. But I cannot just go by what I feel. I need to go by the evidence that's presented in front of me. And the evidence that was presented in front did prove that the person was guilty. So, in this situation, yes, this is not a criminal case and everything, right? The scripture does provide the case whereby you would actually let a guilty person go for the fear of punishing an innocent person. Because we do believe the judge of all the earth will do what's just in the end. Yep. Nobody's going to get away with it. But I do get it. Like right now, if somebody wronged me, I want justice today. So right now, yes, everything that we are seeing, Fani is getting away with it. Whatever the judge was given according to the rules and regulations, the laws of Georgia, whatever happened does not fit. So you just have to let Fani go. Kind of like what happened to OJ. If it doesn't fit, go, right? So my point is, this is also makes us like, okay, this makes us to be aware of what's happening around us. It matters who you're going to be casting a vote for the judge, because this is an elected office. Fani Willis, the people of Fulton County put her there. So she is a reflection of the Fulton County. You see what I'm saying? So the people who are ruling over us are a reflection of us. So when Christians are not involved in these places, this is what happens. This is what happens.
Again, you're speaking my language.
Yeah. Look how many churches were parading Fani Willis. Huh? Even the Seventh-day Adventists paraded Fani Willis. Like, even if she's not guilty, the fact that she's a woman who is not married and she's out having sex outside marriage, that is against the scripture. That alone, you cannot have a woman on the pulpit like that. You want her come in, sit in the pew, repent and believe. That's what you want. You see what I'm saying? Like, no, why don't you get married? You have this powerful position and everything. You are supposed to be an example to women. But what you're doing, it's not. So already, if the church are going to have Fani Willis, then do we have an issue Sarah Jack's preaching all day, every day, twice on Sunday? You see what I'm saying? So all these things, like, yes, we can cry, whatever, just like, no, this is exactly what we deserve. Women are going to rule over you. This is a sign of judgment. Now you have a judge who is sitting over there, okay, whatever, his hands are tied because he's also running for office. He wants to keep his office, or he's scared of this woman because when Fani Willis came in that first day, you know what I'm saying? That wasn't the decorum for the courtroom. And she just went in with her paper like, you lied. And even that, the Trump attorney, that, I forgot her name, but she was white, right? She got so scared. You see what I'm saying? So Fani felt like, I can walk in this courtroom and I'm a black woman. You see, who's going to tell Fani Willis what to do? That's what happened. And then not only that, she went to church. The black women are carrying people on their backs and blah, 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 blah. And there were men in that church. Like, sit her down. Sit her down. And then she went there even in court like, oh, no. A man is just a companionship. I do not need a man for anything. Go ahead, Kiana.
Well, I know. I completely agree. She's about to start doing her Black Church Chitlin Circuit Victory Tour. So I'm sure we'll see and hear again whether she's there in person or not. The tour shall commence, because I'm sure Jamal Bryant has something for her. I'm surprised.
By the way, Jamal, Queen Esther, remember the vice president, Queen Esther. Go ahead.
Yeah, to my shame, both of them went to the same school and graduated from the same school that I did. I hang my head in shame. But that's the thing about it. No matter what happens, Fani's always going to be able to go home. Howard will welcome her with open arms, and I am sure she will have a chair ready for her, no matter what happens in this case. Again, to my shame. I love you, Howard. HU, but you were so wrong a lot of the time.
Right here, yeah, man. Howard, go, girl, go. So to me, those are the things that have happened. So I truly do see that, okay, their relationship, the situation over there, it's not up and up. You know what I mean? They shouldn't have been doing those things. But, according to the law, there's nothing there. But if Fani Willis was remorseful and seeing all these things, should just be like, you know what? I'm going to humble myself. I'm just going to step down on my own. Then it'll be like, okay, she's learned her lesson. She wants to do something. But that's not what she's going to do. If anything, she's going to double down, triple down, and who knows what. And she's going to run for the office again. And the people are going to vote for her again. So these are, what else do we expect?
Absolutely. I mean, it's one of those things. Again, like I said, we said it's another discussion for another time. Like, you're speaking my language, and like, Christians are not involved. But Fani, again, prediction: Judge Mcafee is gonna lose his election. He was gonna lose it either way it went. He's in Fulton County. He got appointed by Brian Kemp. He's gonna lose his election. Fani if she is not disciplined, disbarred, if she is still eligible at the time that the primary comes around to run, and I should say at the time the general election comes around, she will win again as long as she is still on the ballot. Because again, and I told you this kind of offline vibe, but I lived in D.C. when Marion Barry was serving his second term as mayor. After we all saw him, well, some of us, because I don't know how young some of y'all are in the audience, but I did as a youngster see him smoke crack on camera. The citizens of DC reelected him. And being a newbie to DC, because I think he won in like 95, 96, and I moved to DC in 96 to go to Howard. And so I'm walking around there, and I was not as conservative as I am now. The Lord had me on that path because he was bringing me to himself. But I asked the lovely, lovely people of DC, how is it you could vote a man back in for mayor that we all saw smoke crack on camera? And the thing that they said to me was he was set up. Now, we all know the famous line Marion Barry had. He said she set him up too. My point, though, is that, okay, let's go with that. Let's go with she set him up, because we all do know that the feds were waiting for him at the door. They burst into the room. They were waiting for him. So let's go with the fact that she did set him up. Did she force him to put the crack pipe to his mouth and smoke it? He wasn't asleep when he was doing it. It's not like he was asleep and she went to his lips, put the crack pipe, lit it, and then took a picture of it. This man was fully awake and chose to smoke crack. And after he went to jail and got out, came back into the district, put his name on the ballot, and they said, yes, sir.
Yes.
We want you to run our city again.
Okay. So this is the question that I have. You guys in the chat, you can chime in. We are Christians, right? Equal measures, even scale. So, the crack pipe and everything, okay, the person was voted back. We have the situation over here. We don't want Fani Willis because she's representing a district attorney. That's not good for the office. Are we applying the same standards to Donald Trump? Or this is where we come from, like, oh, I'm not voting for a pastor. I'm voting for the president.
I think the same standards apply in the sense of here's the actual difference with Donald Trump. So right now he is being accused of a lot of things. Some of them criminal, some of them not. If he goes before a jury of his peers and is found guilty beyond a reasonable doubt of criminal acts, then Donald Trump is a criminal. The standard that we're talking about with Fani Willis, because we all as Christians, we said she should not have been sleeping with a married man.
No, that's wrong.
That is a moral fail. That is a moral failing, and that is something that we need to look at. What we're talking about. At least I will say what I was. I'm not gonna say what anybody else is standing to. I think if you're willing to lie, you're willing to lie. Even the thing with Donald Trump, I will tell you, when Donald Trump, because y'all know I love my ratchet TV. And so I watched The Apprentice from the time it came on. I couldn't stand Donald Trump.
Hold on. With Trump, there hasn't been any crime that, these are just the accusations. But, the Eugene Carroll thing and the Hollywood access tape.
But the Hollywood thing, they are taking that out of context.
Just the character.
And I'm so tired of hearing that. I'm so tired of hearing them take that out of context. Donald Trump never said that you can grab anybody by anything. He was talking about how these women are so thirsty that they will let you do that. That was the quote, and people keep misquoting that. Now, he's boorish. He is a bull in a china shop. He is absolutely a bull in a china shop. And he is also one of those people, just like we have been getting the popcorn ready for Fani. I've been having the popcorn ready for Trump since I didn't think that he chance in 2016. I really did not. I was like, there is no way on God's green earth this man's going to win. people appreciate the fact that he is a straight talker. He is definitely a storyteller and an embellisher of things. Everything's great, perfect, whatever. He uses a lot of hyperbole, but he says what he says, and he means what he says in the sense of, in his mind, he believes it. He is so arrogant that if he tells you he's going to do something, it's his ego that Donald Trump's not a conservative. Anybody who I grew up in the 80s and the 90s. I watched this man. I think he is garish and gaudy and has no taste. But I also watch these people who have, you can say he has no character. I mean, the man he doesn't care is what it is. He just straight doesn't care. The man took his wife and his girlfriend on the same ski trip. They were there together. He didn't care. They fought it out. He has not committed a crime. He also is not, in that sense, because the president is the federal law enforcement person with being in the executive branch. He has not committed a crime. Is it a moral crime? Is it a moral crime? Absolutely. Absolutely. He is no person who is not delusional is holding Donald Trump up as the highest moral agent. Nobody says that. The thing about it is, if he says he's going to do something, he does it. And honestly, if for no other reason but from the fact that he has a huge ego, so he doesn't want it said of him, I said I was going to do this and I didn't. Donald Trump's not a conservative. Never has been, never will. He governed in a more conservative manner than we've had any president because his ego wouldn't let him do anything else. On the flip side, Fani Willis, she has not been convicted of a crime. I don't know if she committed any crimes because I don't know if breaking the rules of not admitting that you got some kickbacks. I mean, kickbacks actually are illegal, but I don't know I don't know how all that works. We may find out that she gets that there are crimes alleged for her at some point. I have no idea. But I am of the thing, Donald Trump has never said to me, hey, I am going to use cell phone data against you, but you can't use cell phone data as I prosecute you. And that's a whole different thing to me. It is, and again, I'm not dismissing his moral ineptitude. I'm not. It's like,
but Q,
he is a boy.
The point that I'm bringing, even scales across the board, right? Because what is our standard, right? We have a biblical worldview, okay? So in this situation right here, they took, they had a hearing before the judge. The judge has found, there's no need for us to be dismissed, for Fani to be dismissed, okay? It's a matter of, they were having a relationship, the relationship that she was not supposed to have, okay? That has already been established. Donald Trump was having a relationship he was not supposed to have. That is established, okay? He's put money in escrow right now, quote unquote, the jury of his peers, with Eugene Carroll. That's there, okay? I'm not talking about the things that they haven't come out of the court, okay? So the point that I'm making, if you apply the same thing that we're applying to Fani Willis, apply it to Donald Trump, you are going to end up in the same place, okay? We are giving Donald Trump a pass because it's almost like, he's going to be in the White House. You know what I mean? He's the president. It's not a big deal. He's doing the things that we like. He's not this, that, and the third. So be it, right? But the point that I'm saying is like, as Christians, right? If we have one standard, and that has to apply across the board. If you're just going to be like, even the stuff that I'm saying, like, okay, I know that, yes, Fani Willis, the stuff that she was doing, whatever, yeah, she shouldn't. But legally speaking, according to whatever is on the law, there's no there. Okay, so yeah, what the judge did was according to the law. He should have done otherwise. That's what I would have loved. But according to what's on paper, he followed the law according to whatever's on paper. So I can say that. in the same way, I'll be like, oh, okay, whatever. Donald Trump is doing the things that people like, okay, so be it. But I'm not going to be here saying like, fine, it's just Donald Trump. Yes, this is a locker room talk. Like, it's fine. He's a womanizer. He's not a Christian. We can't do that.
I don't think Christians are saying that. And I think that's my point. I don't think that Christians are saying that. I don't think that they're saying, oh, it's just Donald Trump, so I'm going to give him a pass.
Oh, yeah. Oh, Richie, those guys are already, those are pagans. We don't even talk about
It's like he has not broken a law. Now, again, we can talk about, because again, in my wheelhouse, is like,
but if Fani has been acquitted, what law has Fani broken?
Well, Fani's not been acquitted because Fani was not on trial.
Yeah, Fani wasn't trial, so we cannot say that Fani broke the law because, she wasn't on trial. There's no charges that's been brought. She hasn't appeared before a jury appears.
Now, Susie made a very good point.
What is Susie
Fani lied under oath. We all heard her lie under oath.
Yeah,
that is a crime.
So somebody needs to sue Fani for lying, because it is a crime to lie under oath. But that's not why she was on trial.
They can't really sue her for lying.
She wasn't on trial for perjury. I mean, it's a crime. Perjury is a crime.
But perjury is a crime no matter when you commit it. It doesn't matter whether it's there. But most people don't get prosecuted for perjury. It just doesn't happen. That's very there's a case I know not too long ago where somebody actually did, and I can't remember what the case is. But I mean, the truth is, she did commit a crime. We all watched her commit a crime. We all listened to her commit a crime. But that's my thing. It's like we can adultery. Again, I say adultery should be illegal, and I know it used to be illegal. But using your standard, that's not on the books anymore. So by paper, Donald Trump has not committed a crime. Even the whole little deal that they got him on in New York, they're like, oh, you inflated your numbers in order to get a
square
loan.
footage. That's what all the real estate guys do that in New York.
Yes, and they all do it. So it's like you went after him. So I'm like, is that? And he paid the money back. He didn't default on his loans. He didn't do anything. Those loans have been paid back for years. What actual crime has he committed? We're not talking about the moral things. So then none of those are crimes. But again, based on what you're saying by the letter of law, because there's lots of things that as Christians we have to deal with every day in the world.
That's true.
That are against Christ, that the world doesn't think are illegal. We may not like them. I mean, you have some Christians who just wholeheartedly believe you shouldn't drink. They believe that's against Christ. It's not illegal to, unless you're a certain age. So it's one of those things. And the office that if he has done something, and I'm all for it, because I was in DC when all the hot stuff was happening. I was in DC when the Monica Lewinsky thing went down. Fun fact, I actually worked selling tchotchkes and paraphernalia for Bill Clinton's second inauguration.
Oh, wow. They actually found another Madam house in 3 places out here as well. And that case just died down, escort, the servicing, the high people in DC.
But it's like, it was a whole little deal. It's, what did he do that, because we can sit there and say, oh, you besmirched the office and it was not, but what did he do that, funny, Susie, I don't think so, because they were doing some what is in the Fani Willis case too.
Oh, is, yeah. But he lost his license for that, remember? Because afterwards, Bill Clinton lost his, he was disbarred. So maybe,
for a moment, he's back in now.
I mean, what is he gonna do? Enjoying the retirement.
He can practice. He can practice again now. But the thing again, it is a whole little deal. All of the things, save what we're talking about now with January 6th and the election, everything that they are going after Trump for are things that happened prior to him ever becoming president. And they have decided the whole point is for him not to run. You can like him, not like him. I'm not defending. I'm not saying vote for him. I'm not saying any of that stuff. None of those things are coming out of my mouth. but there is a line of demarcation. What you are doing is actually affecting your job. Interestingly enough, what this brought up to me was the whole little the Duke lacrosse case came back to my mind, and the district attorney Nifong, he went out and said all that stuff about the Duke lacrosse, and he ended up losing his license for the statements he made about the Duke lacrosse players and all the things he did.
I remember, watch that case. If those lacrosse players didn't have money, their parents were not rich, they would be rotting in jail right now. They would have been rotting in jail.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And here's another thing, the interesting fact on that I found out. So she wrote a book about her time. And for y'all who don't know, I don't know if you do know this, the lady who did accuse them ended up going to jail for second-degree murder of her boyfriend. So she's actually in prison. She will be eligible to get out next year.
That'll be interesting.
But that is, I mean, this has been a fun case just to watch, because I'm like, it's better than any reality show.
Yeah, especially when she walked in her pink dress. I just
and here's a fun thing. Here's a funny thing. I actually started to dress like that tonight because I'm going to be Fani Willis for Halloween.
Halloween. Okay. Oh, we should have put on some pink dresses for Fani.
I started to put it on tonight for tonight's thing. I just did not have the time. But it's been fun. It's been fun watching it. And it also is one of those things that I saw April put in there. It's like, I'm ready for Jesus to come back. It's like, yes. It's like, please, Lord, stop it all.
I know.
I'm tired now.
I know.
But
okay. Oh, go ahead, Q.
No, I was gonna say it's been really fun to watch. I have learned a lot because I've watched a lot of lawyers just break things down, and it's also very interesting to see how people can watch the exact same things and come up with completely different conclusions. It's amazing. It's absolutely amazing, and it's always Vi. I have fun when I hang out with you. We don't always we of course always agree on the fundamentals, and we agree on things that are, if they're not Christian, we don't always agree on those details though, and that's fun.
The details. And
Kiana
and I, we share the same birthdays, okay?
Yes,
so
that's what I was gonna say.
That's why we can fight.
It's like we are birthday twins for those who don't know.
Yeah. All right, Q, do you have, because, you're getting ready to start up your channel, plug in your channel, so people can get ready to subscribe. When are you launching? Yeah. So we'll make time to be there.
I am planning to launch next week. I actually had a video that I wanted to drop. It was not about the Fani Willis case, but I have to redo it because it kind of alluded to us waiting for the verdict for Fani Willis case. I'll give you just kind of a little thing. It's actually about a case here in Birmingham. I don't know if you guys remember the Carly Russell case, but there's some updates in that. And so that is what I am going to drop. Hopefully I will be able to get a little recording done on Monday, because that is actually going to come to an end. And then one of the next things I plan to do is actually do a review on the book that was brought up in the Fani Willis hearing. So there was a book that got published at the beginning of this year. It was January 30th, I think, is when the book came out, called Find Me the Votes. And that was some of the things that the guys were referencing in the defense lawyers were referencing in the courtroom. And I decided that I was going to go get the book because I love doing all that stuff. And I did not get the written copy of the book, although I'm thinking I may try and go find a secondhand copy of that. But I got the audiobook, so I've been listening to it, and there's some very interesting things in there. So I'm going to do a little book review on that, kind of go chapter by chapter.
That's good. Yeah, guys. So Susie Q, thank you for putting that in the chat. Guys, be sure to subscribe. Q is no stranger, so we can't wait to go on her channel, and she'll be back here because there's a lot happening. So, yeah, man.
And I'm going to say to y'all, Y'all gonna have to forgive me for struggle streaming. I have bought a lot of things for my channel. I don't know how to use them because I'm old and I'm not tech savvy. So it's gonna be a struggle stream for a while. The videos may not be the best, but I will learn as I go along. So I will say, as the old saints used to say, please be patient with me. God is not through with me yet.
That would be nice. Yeah, guys. So, I mean, this was fun. I know. I enjoyed myself. I appreciate you guys for being here. I know we got to get ready tomorrow. Go worship our King. And, yeah, be sure to subscribe to Q's. Stay tuned. There's a lot of stuff that's happening. Okay? So, yeah. Man, you know, I don't want the stream to end. You know what I mean? But we got to go.
Me either, but I was going to say, I'm like, I need to eat.
Yeah, so Q has to go as well. Q has to go as well. All right, guys. All right, guys. That is all that I have for you guys today. I hope you find this to be informative to you. We had fun, but remember, everything, whatever we do it all to the glory of God, right? So people can get away with things in this life, but they're never going to get away on the last day, because there will be a day of judgment. So whatever we do, we just judge by according to the scriptures, right? God is not mocked.
Amen.
God has spoken. People platforming this Fani Willis, like, you know, those are churches you need to run from. So use that as a sign.
Yes.
Whose birthday is tomorrow? Susie Q? Oh. Okay, tomorrow is tomorrow is Susie Q's birthday. Happy birthday. Okay, no, it's too early for that. So we'll be sure to wish you happy birthday, Susie Q. Okay? So, Susie Q, superstar Susie Q, BB Squad. All right, guys, I guess we call it a night. All right. Anything Q you wanted to say?
No, just I love you guys, and thank you for putting up with my horrible voice and all my sarcasm.
We love Q. We love Q. All right, guys. Good night, and we'll see you on the next one. Okay, that's all that I had for you guys today. Be sure to subscribe to my channel. Don't forget to like this video. Make sure you follow Kiana. Okay, until next time, remember to be in the north. Thank you.
Night, y'all.